Over the years, my view has changed on listening to music. It does not stay the same, it evolves. Inside the moon, or most of the classical music, even today, it swells to get louder. It goes in to get a sort of feeling. If it's softer, it's got a soft feeling. We know these things. That's your dynamic of the music. And that's why music traditionally was recorded. But when you got into rock and roll, because there's so many ups and downs in the levels, well, we wanted to have this straight sounding music, and so in the 80s we had this compressed, layered music, and we liked it. Don't get me wrong, we liked the 80s music. We liked a lot of the hard rock music that came out of the 80s. The only issue that developed is when the Sony Walkman came out. People listen to music differently. People took their music with them. Now, they did there in the 70s, they did those little AM radios right up to the ear and tinny, horrible music. And my brother had an AM radio that go to the ear. And now it seems like with phones, we're going back to that era of music. So listening with the Sony Walkman, I mean, the question goes, are we listening to music? We have the music up to our ears. The issue that was my problem is with listening to music through the headphones, I was creating ear fatigue. So ear fatigue is, and I'll try to show a graph when ear fatigue happens, when the music goes to a certain level, and when you're listening in your ears, the music increases and it causes more of an ear fatigue. And so what happens is everything sounds great. Even the bad music. I can take my old stuff that sounds good. Another thing that causes ear fatigue is alcohol, drugs. All these things can cause an impact of listening to music. Look on the research on the internet if you do not agree with me or disagree with me. I don't care. Listening to music is the most vital part of the recording process, and you need to create an environment of listening. You need to create a listening environment. That's what your studio can become. See, and that's the whole thing with having home studios now. What are you going to do about listening? Maybe you need to add some foam, or you need to add an extra wall to cut back things that are coming in. As I speak, I can hear, because I listen, I hear the birds, I hear the guy on the motorcycle cranking up, I hear those things, and I know that those things can disrupt a recording, and especially if you're at a certain level on your listening on this headphones, you can hear those things. And if you can depict those sounds, then that you're in the right place. You're right here at the right place of listening to your music. So I will go into different studies eventually. Maybe we'll go into this depicting about listening music and creating a listening environment. Because one thing, you want your music to travel well. Over the years, my view has changed on listening to music. It does not stay the same. It evolves. I have to decide for myself. For instance, I saw on a blog the other day a fellow podcaster who podcasts. I disagree with his blog on the way he podcasts, but it works for him. He's got 80 guests. He's going to be a good podcaster. So what he does. As far as my law and home recording, this is what works for me. It doesn't mean it's always going to work for you. But if you know how you listen to music, then you'll figure out how to record music. And I hope that makes sense. Meaning is, you are when you're listening to music, you are putting yourself in the shoes of the customer that you're creating music. Alright, so music is a widget. Music is a product. And you are trying to sell that product of music. And the thing is about, you can make a good product, and the higher the price of your quality, you can raise up the price of the music because you believe in the quality so much. If you're a salesman, you really want to sell a product that you believe in, and your music should be something that you believe in. Now, I do have fun with my music. I'm a novelty songwriter, so I like to write novelty songs. I don't care if you buy it or not. It's just for the fun. But then there's sometimes I get serious with my music and I really believe in it. And I said, this is the song you need to listen to. This is the song that's going to change the ages. And I hope you have that intensity. I like to have fun. And at the same time, I like to take it serious because that's the reason I write lyrics. I love writing lyrics because without the lyrics, you've got no song to me. I mean, the song, music is fine, but lyrics are what, to me, is what changes your mind. You know, when certain people sing a certain lyric, I mean, just one little line that can change that song. You know, like, for instance, when you hear that song, When a Man Loves a Woman, just that, writing that itself is so powerful. Or, you know, those songs are so powerful, and hearing people sing it, if you can sing it with conviction, and that's what about listening about music is all about. So growing up in the 80s, I listened through my Walkman, I listened through those devices. So my change in music, I had to educate myself on listening to music. I had to go back in time when people actually sat on the chairs and listened to the speakers. And speakers are very important because you want your music to travel well. Because not everybody, because I'm not going to get in the argument of why you shouldn't be recording with your headphones or not. But I want to try to sell you this: not everyone listens to music through their headphones. Having issues distributing your music? Try DistroKid today. Get your music distributed through Spotify, through iTunes, Pandora, TikTok, through YouTube, through Twitch, all by clicking below. Click on the link below and try DistroKid to get your music distributed today. I've tried it and I've loved it. They listen to a little teeny speaker at home on the television. They listen to that little teeny little speaker on their cell phones. So I'm not even going to get into that argument as well, because that's the worst thing to me people can listen to music on is your cell phones. Just awful. It's like going back in time to the AM radios. That's just my opinion. So I brought in some things about traveling. Does your music travel well? Let's talk about today how that your music should it travel. And I'm not going to sit here and say what's the best cell phone, because who cares? Who gives a rat's tail about the whole idea of a cell phone is communicate with each other. And this is just a simple Samsung, LG. You get them for hardly any price. My main thing is communication with these. You can have 4 or 5 of those. You got one for Facebook marketing, one for eBay, one for your home studio, one for work, whatever. These things are what people do listen to music on. And so what I'm trying to say is, does your music travel? How does it sound on a cell phone? All right, good deal. All right, next, this is a V7 Sport Bluetooth. I hate being a person who likes to recommend products, but this is a great system right here. This is a nice little headphones that you can get for under $40. I repeat, under $40. And they also have a memory card. I've hooked these up to my computer. I've hooked these up to my cell phone. I've hooked these up to everything I can listen to. They're under $40. And they say you can get these wet. I sweat a lot. When I mow my yard, or I also taking trees out and burning stumps because I live out in the country. I wear these puppies, and I listen to music because there's a little card there too, and we'll talk about that later. But does your music travel well? I recorded my song. All right, so I transfer it over to my cell phone. I listen it on my cell phone. All right, I transfer it over to my car speakers. You can get car speakers as well. All right, so does it sound good in my car? All right, there you go. So I listen to this. I listen to my car. All right, I go over here and I listen to my headphones. Well, Alright, what else people are listening to nowadays? Oh, Bluetooth speakers. This is a Flip 4. You know. And you're sitting there as you're watching this. Should I own these? Say yes, you should own these things. If you don't, I'll put some links down below through our affiliate. You could buy these items. I recommend these. I recommend the JBL Bluetooth speakers. I love them. You can get the big ones, you can get the small ones. The Flip 4 is probably a cheaper one. There's a better one, and I'll tell you, I used to work a third shift, and everybody had their little wireless speakers, and my JBL was the loudest speaker there at work. So I love my JBL Bluetooth speakers. Does my music travel well? So there you go, folks. So here's a couple other things I do recommend. I'm going to get my notes out here for you, and forgive me. All right, so I recommend in your studio to get the Mackie, either 8-inch or 5-inch multimedia monitors with, you know, I don't recommend the Bluetooth and all this stuff. I think that you should be recording directly from your devices. Now you can get Bluetooth monitors, controllers, and what Bluetooth monitor controllers? Did I say Bluetooth monitor? You can get monitor controllers for your studio. What this is this is way you can go back and forth to different speakers. That way you can travel from right there, and that's what I do. I go back and forth a lot of times. I have a monitor controller. I love it. I go from my little tinny Sony speakers to my Mackies, back to my tinny speakers, back to my Mackies to see. And I'll talk about, what am I talking about tinny speakers? People don't have expensive speakers at home, alright? So a lot of them are listening through cheap speakers. So get you, go on Facebook, go on eBay, and look for a nice little receiver speaker system. Some of them are even going to be better than what you have than studio monitors. I recommend going through. If you've got a good pair of Bose, like a Lifestyle 650 home entertainment system that works with Alexa, or a Bose Acoustic Mass 5 Series V stereo speaker system in black, if you have any of those are good for listening. Sitting back on your chair, and I'm going to listen to this music, and I'm going to take it in. Listen to those speakers for your enjoyment. See, listen, hear, and listen to things. Get it at a certain level so you don't get ear fatigue. And we'll post, I'll try to keep that posted here so you know what level you need to keep your music on to. And this is going by decibels so you don't get ear fatigue. Alright, so those are things I recommend. You can, like I said, the JBL Extreme 2 waterproof portable Bluetooth speaker in blue is a great big nice JBL that you can get that's Bluetooth. And this is usually when you are finished with your recording. Travel. Take that single, because nowadays with Spotify distribution, we'll go on distribution later. Keep your pants on, don't get your panties in the wall. We'll get into distribution later with your music, but first let's set up our studio. And I want to say right now, with the JBL Extreme 2 waterproof portable Bluetooth speaker, that's something you do afterwards. Like, you could take that speaker to work with you, like I did when I used to work a late night shift, and I'd listen to music to see if everything was recorded correctly. And that's something you can do, and that's something I do recommend. Put it in your car, listen to those speakers in the car. Some of y'all got some great speakers in your car. Some of you got some great speakers in your car, and I would recommend getting something like that. So, does your music travel well? That's one person was talking about the worst speakers you can get is probably your best choice, because you want to know when you listen to it what you're hearing. But compare with other music. Alright, so if you're into electronic music, listen to other people's electronic music first on those cheap speakers. Now, listen to your song. See what your song is missing from the previous song that you played. And there you go. Listening well, and speakers that I recommend. And you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing.